Hello, everybody, and welcome to Becoming Invincible podcast. I am your host, Talia, and I am so excited to have you here. This podcast is to reframe your mindset, challenge those limiting beliefs that you may have when you're navigating all the situations in your life. And I'm here to give you tools to help you navigate them in such a healthy way and to harness your personal power that we tend to lose along the way. So settle up, get ready, grab a coffee, and get ready for some juice in each episode as I throw you what life has thrown me and we can navigate this shit together.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Okay, so I sound like shit because I am a little bit sick. So we'll see how this recording goes because I have no idea if it's going to be a great one or not. But I really felt called to record this episode. And obviously the real time when you guys are listening to this, I'll obviously be all better. But this is just the commitment that I do because I really love my show and I really want to always deliver. And sometimes when content or like things that come through, things that I'm working through with people, I'm like, I need to speak on that because there's a lot of things that I am working through with people that I feel like is needed. I feel like a lot of people need to hear this stuff. So I've got my BTS here. So hence why people who are watching is like, well, is she looking over there? Is because of my behind the scenes. And then I've got my podcast screening here. So first, before I start this episode, I really wanted to shout out one of my besties. She is an incredible makeup artist. So those that live in Perth, she is incredible. Honestly, such a gift, such a hidden gem. Honestly, she is a hairdresser and a makeup artist, so all-rounder. And so this is her. I really wanted to shout her out because so proud of her. You know, it's been a freaking journey, been along the ride with her, and I just think it's been an incredible time. So this is her business, Artistry by Chloe Jasmine. I will try and link her Instagram in the show notes, but shouting her out because she's amazing. So proud of her. And yeah, so she did my makeup. Beautiful job though. I'm so proud of her. Wanted to shout her out. Amazing. Because I was her model today, just for like more content. So really proud of her. So today I really wanted to speak on because what keeps coming up is a bit of an ego situation. I'm going to go into all the parts of how it's like an ego thing and things like that because a lot of people will be like, that's not an ego thing. We all have our like opinion, which is so valid. And I'm not saying that my way is right and yours is wrong or anything like that, but I really do believe, and this is something that always comes up with people. And I am like, I need to do a podcast episode on this because this must be what people need to hear. I'm just going to have a sip of my lemon and honey, which I always feel like I sound a lot more sexier when I'm sick than when I'm actually normal. I feel like, let me know guys if that's how you feel. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about this because it does come up a lot. To have experienced this myself, and so also helping you guys through what I've done that really helps me. Okay, when we get into these times. So sometimes in our life we can get really jealous of somebody, yes, of somebody. I do have a jealousy and envy episode in my earlier part of my podcast show where we're in situations with people that are not the best, right? They don't really handle themselves the best. So let me know if you guys have actually experienced this, okay? That you've experienced where someone's not a nice person and for some reason good things are happening to them. So where, you know, like you're like, oh my God, I'm a good person and I would love to go on a holiday and I can't fucking seem to get on top of my finances to go on holiday like that person has, you know, things like that. And it is so normal. I really want to normalize this because it's a real thing to be like, I feel really envious or I feel quite jealous of that person. Right now, when we're feeling and experiencing these emotions at these times, very normal. It's very human. I feel like we need to really bring the humanness. So, a lot of self development and probably even some of the stuff I've like spoken on and stuff like that, you must think it's easy for you to tell because you've been in this like whole industry for like a while and things like that, or I don't know. And yeah, I totally feel you. Yes, I have. But also, when it comes to this work and like talking about self-development is quite trendy, especially like breath work and things like that, which is really unfortunate because these are things that can really help us. When things are like trending, we need to also bring awareness that we're all humans, okay? Because there's actually a lot of science to self-development. It's not actually all woo-woo. It's not like some spiritual, magical thing that happens and everything like that. Oh my God, that makes my voice not break so much. Okay, I'm working with my voice. All right, because I'm cutting out and I just don't know how that's going to record. Anyway, so we can sort of get into these, like, we know people that they seem like they're excelling more than you, and you are quote unquote like a nice person, right? And you compare yourself to another person, being like, oh my God, why do they have that? They seem to be doing well than I am, like much more better than what I am doing. When really, they're not. There's always cracks in what you see, especially on social media, right? Because it's so easy for us to, on social media, scrolling and comparing your life to the person that you used to work with, the person that you were once friends with, someone you went to school with, someone that you have no idea about, but there's some influencer from some fucking way. And it's so easy to do that. It's so easy to compare. Comparison, we all know, is the thief of joy. And when we do this and we get into our head, I like to say, we are then breaking trust with ourselves and we are seeking validation outside of ourselves. Okay. Why is that bad? Is you're trying to fulfill something that you need to look inside you. So there's something going on in here. Okay, that's making you feel a certain way, whether you're feeling really emotional, whether you're just, I don't know, but I'm just feeling quite vulnerable. Or you might even feel angry, you might even feel like nothing, and you feel sort of like tingling in your body. Everybody is so different. And so when you start to like have a visceral response because something's coming, like something's inside, it makes your body feel a certain way. And then because something's not right in here, you start to see it out here. Okay, it's all very science. We're humans, right? We are all here to experience absolute bliss and absolute heartbreak because we wouldn't have absolute bliss without the heartbreak, right? And so I really want everyone to sort of remind themselves that when we're comparing and we're like trying to seek something outside of ourselves, how that looks is like, oh my God, they're better than me, they're this. And you start shitting on your self-worth and you start being like, oh, I'm not as worthy, I'm not as lovable, they're so much better of a person than me, blah, 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 like all these things. And when we start to do that, that deteriorates us over time. The real thing that needs to sort of start to think about is instead of looking out here to fix what's in here, you start working out, okay, what part of my day created this? What part of my week? Is there a lot of things going on in your life where this part's happening, that's part's happening, and your body's trying to keep up on, like, trying to process all emotions and things like that. There could be so many things, okay? And because when we start to compare and when we start to be like, oh my God, they all get the benefits, they're living a better life, there, that is so low vibe, okay? That is very low vibe. Where you're just like, oh my God, that, like, their life is better than me, nothing good happens to me, but like that is drawing out your energy low. Okay, so we want to feel the good vibes, right? We need to start focusing on who you are right now compared to who you were 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. All the things that have happened in your life, all in the last, like, at least 5 years. Because I shit you not, you'll be in where you were 5 years ago is so different to where you are today. And who you were 5 years ago, so different to who you are today, right? Keep that in mind. Definitely feel you that it's really fucking hard to always remember shit like that, 100%. But when we start to look outside to try and fix something inside, it doesn't work. So questions you could ask yourself is, what do I need to fulfill within myself? What am I lacking? As in, what am I not giving to myself? So example here, when you're caught comparing yourself to someone else, whoever it may be, it could even be your partner because that happens, or even like your friends, right? So when you are noticing that you're comparing yourself to someone else, I want you to ask yourself, what am I neglecting for myself? What am I neglecting giving myself when it is something that I need? Because when you start to focus on why, like, what is it that person that you're having such a response about? What is it about that person that they just have everything? What is it about it? Is it material things? Is it how they carry themselves? Is it their social media page? Is it what they do for a job? Is it where they live? Is it the family that you want? What is it? Because it could be like the relationship that they have because you want a relationship just like that and you don't have that, whether you're in one or single. It could be because they have a family, like a kids, and that's something that you really desire. And that could be really hard for you, which my heart absolutely goes out for you if it's really hard. And maybe you're not ready to have kids yet, but you do one day. It could be the job that they have, and you start judging on their job, like, oh, it seems so fucking easy. Would love to earn money that way. Things like that. When we start to compare in that way and start to say things to ourselves like that, that is something that we desire. Now, because it's not coming out in the positive way of like, I desire that, because no one actually will be truthful to themselves to say, I don't desire that life. Like, they're all that, blah, 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 right? That's a story because you absolutely desire that life. Every person you follow or you interact with on social media, whether you're looking, you actually follow somebody, you like their stuff, whatever, there is something about them that you want to have. Whether that's the person that they are, what they have, who they're around, all the things, right? It really depends. It could be any of those things I listed before. That is a desire you like to have. But a lot of us get brought up with desiring is horrible. Don't desire because you're greedy. Don't desire because you should be good with what you have. You should be happy with what you have. Be grateful for what you have. You can't want more. If you want more, then you're greedy, then you're a horrible person. That is the story that we get sold when we're growing up, especially like us millennials. We very much grew up in that. Come home because the streetlights are going on, sun's going down, all the things, because that's what we get fed. And society is a great one for it, still gets fed. It's like, oh, I'm not grateful for what I have. Okay, like I should want more. And we start to shame ourselves if we do. And this is how all the different beliefs that happens, that comes into our brain, that we start believing on ourselves or believing about people or believing about the world. Because when you start to believe something, you'll perceive it. So when you start to believe in something that's like a little voice in your head saying, you will perceive life that way. And I will always quote this movie yet again, that Inside Out #2 is the best one for families to watch. Obviously number 1's great too, but that's obviously from like a baby to when she's 10. Number 2 is so good because it really goes into beliefs and it actually gives you like a good example and sort of explains how beliefs are formed. And because like anxiety comes in and she starts feeling anxiety and that takes over, and they portray it in such a good way for kids and families to understand how anxiety can really outrule us, because there's a lot of people that still don't experience anxiety or depression and they don't understand how people can get sad or how people can feel anxious. Like that is a thing. And I have met a lot of people that are like, I don't understand anxiety. So it's a really good movie to watch and really educate. Anyway, so there's something you desire about that person, but because you have been shamed to think, oh, you can't desire, you can't want that, you then go, oh, okay. And so what's really happening is like you're like quote unquote like bitching about, they're talking about that person negatively. Be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they have that. I can't believe they can afford that. She's only this age, whatever it is. It's because that's something you desire, but you're shunning yourself. So the opposite from desiring something is going to be like hating on something. It's going to be like them. How dare they do that? How dare, it's not as easy. It's easy for them. They just have everything given to them. They're so lucky. They started their social media back in the day. So many things, right? I've done it. I've done it because I have a new social media account, like my Instagram. And it's a lot harder to build followers again. And I've had that for like, it'll be 2 years this Christmas. And it's like really hard. Whereas my previous account, I was really proud of that following. And it took me like 6 months to like fucking create that. And where I'm going on like 2 years. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So I have been there where it's like, oh, maybe I just didn't get in the time because it was the peak time. And to think that I could restart my social media. So I rebranded myself, and also I was having a lot of trouble with my old account. So that's why I already have like 180 followers or something. Anyway, the followers don't mean anything like they do back in the day. Okay, so I'm just gonna have a drink because I feel like it's getting worse. It's so easy to believe in the stories, guys. How do you solve the fact that not be so bitter towards people who should have what they have? Okay, all right, let me tell. I really wanted to say, so when it comes into like that person's horrible or they're abusive or whatever it is, like whoever we have in our life, everyone can be abusive in all different ways. It doesn't have to be where it's like they hit you, they're manipulating you. Like, everyone manipulates us, but there's always the intention behind it. So not everyone is out to get you. I'm a very firm believer in that. Like, no one's out to get you. We've just been wrong so many times that everyone wants to live in the fear. And especially these days, everyone wants to live in fear and feed into that. Like, oh my God, like I could get hurt again. And trust me, there's a lot of bad in the fucking world. Like, I'm not saying that there's not. But when we constantly live our life in fear, you're stopping yourself for experiencing the utmost joy and the most happiness in your life. But you won't experience happiness and things like that until you focus on yourself, because it starts with you and it comes out. Like I said, something's happening in here, you then perceive it out here. Okay? So the more positive you are inside, the more positive your life will portray on the outside. Okay? That's all great now, Charles. What can I fucking do about it? Okay, so there's been like people in my life, right, where I don't want to be them, and it's really gotten to a point where I actually feel sorry for them because they're actually very insecure in themselves. And this is why I push so hard on becoming your best friend, really loving on yourself and talking to your like self in the utmost care, loving way. This whole work on everything self-development, it's about loving yourself and giving your inner child that hug that you never got at the time because you couldn't regulate yourself. There was no one around you to help regulate you, things like that. I really want you guys to understand that it is literally all about loving yourself and getting better at feeling. That is literally the biggest breakdown of self-development. So it's always about getting better at feeling. If you want to know why my episode about trauma, I should really have all my episode names down, but it's like healing the past or something. I didn't want to ever put the word trauma in there because I didn't want people to, again, it's trendy, right? I probably should have because it's trendy, but I don't really want people to be like, oh God, it's scary trauma. So I do have an episode on that about healing a trauma and what it is, because it's very demonized as well. Okay, so I say it all in there, why to get better at feeling and breaking it all down, how easy it is. It's in that episode. So it's about getting better at feeling, about loving yourself, giving yourself the love you can't get from anybody else, even your partner, even your parents. There is no amount of love that you will need to satiate yourself that you can get from someone else other than yourself. There's no amount of love that you need to be able to satiate you from someone else. Nobody could ever give you that love, the amount that you need to boost the hormone levels to keep us in like a good state. This is why a lot of self-development talks about like, how can you get yourself in a high vibe, positive thinking, blah, blah, blah. You hear me say about it. Because the more that you can get yourself in a very high peace state, and the more you're like, I love life, I'm grateful for my life, like, holy fuck, like, I am so proud of myself for where I've come, what I've gone through, who I am as a person, what kind of a parent I am if I'm a mom, like, you know what I mean? Like, just listing off all the things, right? And that is so important about being your own hype girl, your own cheerleader, because not a lot of people are going to. A lot of people are more likely to tear you down than they are about boosting you up. And that is really shitty, because the only people that have ever boosted me up is if they're high in their job and they get paid quite a lot, or people who are entrepreneurs. They're the only people that I don't know. I do, like my friends do. I have an episode on my family, we won't go into that. But with my friends, like they all for like, you know, they boost me up and stuff. They don't really understand the work that I do, but like they're there for me, right? Which I totally get. I'm doing something out of the norm. It's really hard to sort of want to support that because you don't really get taught this in mainstream schooling or anything like that. I digress. So going back, I had someone in my life where I don't want to be like them. I feel sorry for them because they're very unhappy in themselves and they do a lot of things to fill a void. I have compared myself because they are ahead in their business than what I am. There's a lot of reasons for that because they started before me and I was trying to put my worth and my value on how much money you're meant to make. Because this day and age, everyone is all about like women can make their own money, and if they don't make their own money, they're gonna have a shit life because a man's gonna take it all, or even a guy. Like a lot of men feel this way. I'm too scared to get in a relationship because I've had women take me for all that I have, or at least half of my shit. Why the fuck would I want to get into another relationship? We all have this narrative on either sex. It is like a thing. And I very much hear you in that, and I absolutely see you because it's fucking real, right? I've had it happen twice. We need to sort of like ask ourselves, because the reason why I say that too is because if you've had that experience where someone's taken more than that they should, or they've taken half, you know, whatever it is, through a divorce, through being de facto, all the things. When we obviously have been hurt and everything, we take that on and we get really scared and we get fear driven. So the reason why it's like, why aren't you scared, Charles? Because you've had it happen, like it's fucking horrible out there and blah, blah, blah. It's because I've worked on myself with building my self-trust to not letting that happen again. And this is why I want everyone to really remember and to remind themselves of that, like, you know what? As long as I work on myself and build on my self-trust that I have, you won't let that happen again. Have more faith in you, more faith in yourself, that you won't let someone manipulate you, gaslight you, you know, you build that trust. And to build that trust in yourself is by you set alarm to wake up in the morning. Okay, get up. Use the Mel Robbins like technique. Can't remember what the technique's called. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 up, or 3, 2, 1 up. It really helps. Seriously. Especially on the days when you're fucking struggling. Use that technique. Get up on your alarm. Go to the gym and commit. Even if it's like, it's so funny. I talk about this with my partner where he's like, oh no, it's a shit workout. I just like walked on the treadmill, or like I just did this. Going to the fucking gym and at least moving your body is better than fucking not going to the gym and not doing that. When people say like, oh no, it's a shit workout, or it's a shit this, you still committed to the fact that you went to the gym. That is building trust with yourself, regardless of if you lift a bunch of fucking weight, regardless if you do like the biggest run of your life, you do squats, you do an intense workout, whatever it is, right? Regardless of what that is, the fact that you still committed to yourself to go to the fucking gym to move your body is a fucking win. And I think we need to really remind ourselves of that. That's what I mean. Like, I said I'm going to do this, I will do it. Because if you don't, that's how you break trust. It seems really petty and like, oh, whatever, Tiles, that's so little. This minor shit is actually what everyone slips up on every day. Like, honestly, it seems like, oh yeah, whatever. That's such a small thing. If it's so small, why the fuck aren't you doing it? Why the fuck aren't you committing to yourself? You said you'll go for that run. Why the fuck didn't you get up and do it? You know what I mean? So I want you to really commit to yourself, even when you hang out with people and then you get to the end of the day, but you're feeling like absolutely tired. There's two ways you could go about it. Is like you still push through depending on you're tired, because sometimes when we feel fatigued after our day, it's actually our brain keeping us safe to be, oh, you're just so tired, you need to go to bed. Just tell them you'll hang out another time. Sometimes it's that. And when you push through and still commit to going out or going out to dinner or seeing the person that you said, you actually feel better still. You're actually like, oh, I actually wasn't that tired after all. Like I had a good time. But then there's also times where it's the other way, where it's like, oh, you know, I'm going to commit to myself. I'm really sorry for like canceling on you, but I am really not okay. I need to go home. I'm tired. Can I please see you this day? Does that work for you? Because you're being honest in yourself, you're acknowledging how you're feeling, and you're not people pleasing in a way where you're going to still see that person, oh, I better commit and I got to do that. When you're really tired or you're really like, no, or you feel sick or whatever it is, as long as you are honest in that, you're acknowledging yourself and you're acknowledging that person, and you make another plan with that person, the other person feels validated, and you've also validated yourself. And you're not people pleasing, be like, oh God, I feel sick, or I'm absolutely run down. I'll just still go because I committed. That is a silly story you're telling yourself. Don't. But when it's like, oh, I'm just tired, I can't be bothered, You push through. That's how you know the difference, right? So with this person, I was just like, oh, I don't actually want to be them. But it had everything to do with me, where I was starting to shame myself when I really had to go back and think, right, I read all the things that who I was like 2 years ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. I just read who the person I used to be to all the things that have happened for me in the last like 5 years, a year, whatever. But you just feel whatever's intuitive to you with this and writing all the things that who you are now and who you've accomplished, right? I think doing that, seeing it on paper and being like, I used to be this person, all the things that you've achieved or all the things that has happened, your life will be, it will literally instill a little bit more gratitude for you. And now I'm not saying that anyone's being ungrateful here. It always comes back to gratitude, because gratitude is loving yourself. You are comparing all that, you feel like, why the fuck does that happen to them and not to me? It comes from ego. That is our ego speaking out, because you deem that person to not have great things happen to them because of what you know of them, what you've experienced. Now I fully feel you. It's like, fuck you. But you're letting your ego run the show, when it's like, it all comes from energetics, very science based. So when we work on the energy that we are, and it's like, okay, that makes you feel angry, that makes you feel sad, that makes you feel like worthless, right? What do you want to feel? What is it that you want to feel? If you did the exact same thing that they are, or if you had the same thing that they have, whatever you're comparing yourself, what is it that they have, they do, that they are, whatever, that you want? And then go, what's the feeling that it will give me? So if that person is like having a career that you want, or like that they earn a certain amount, or like they have the family that you're working towards, or they have the relationship that you would like to have, because you don't have that connection already, or you're looking for that person still. So when we can compare ourselves, it's like, if you had that thing right now, how would that make you feel? Would it actually make you feel happier? Or do you think you'll be feeling the exact same thing, just with more stuff, more money, more eyes on you? Because yes, that's what will happen. And when we start acting from like, well, how do I want to feel about my life every day? And you start to bring that focus that's already out, and you start to bring it within. You go, how do I want to feel? Everything starts to change, and you don't sort of care about that person anymore, because you're working on you. What can I work on now? What do I see in the next 6 months for me? Next year, all the things listing out in my life, because I don't have as much time, because I'm still a full-time mum to two girls, because they're not fully in school yet. So it's working with the season that you're in. And the more that you start to focus on, how do I want to feel about my day? If I had that thing that I'm chasing already, how is that going to make me feel? View my life, view me. And when you start to focus on like all the things that you can work in, you work your way to get there, sorting all the things out where, okay, I'm going to focus on this in myself. Or like they're just so positive all the time. How can I feel good in myself? Do something for you. Doesn't always cost money. Like, what doing something for me is like walking around the shops with no kids. That's like a vacation for me. Or like going to the beach and feeling the sun on my skin. That feels so good for me. It doesn't cost anything. Or you could do something that does cost something. If you don't feel like worthy to spend money on yourself, treat yourself to something. The more that you do that for yourself, the more you don't seem to care about anyone around you. Because you're like, yeah, I love the life that I'm building. I can't wait for what's to come. You know what I mean? The more that we can get into that frequency and start to feel that and do that, things start to change on the outer, right? Because you're focusing on you. You're drawing that energy that you're so focused out here, and you bring it into you. Okay. So just a circle in this episode is literally that. The more that you fixate on someone and what you don't have, the more unhappy you're going to be. And the more we compare ourselves, the more that it's like, oh gosh, like, why the fuck is that happening to them? It's not to me. Like, I'm better person. I work so hard. I do all these things. It's an energetic thing. So anyone who's listened to my attachment styles episode, I talk about it in there. It's the same thing, the energetics, where it's like, I want that holiday. Why the fuck do they get to? They don't make as much money. They don't try so hard. Why the fuck do they get to go on a random holiday? Why do they all of a sudden afford that thing, right? When really, like, going into debt is a very normal thing these days. How do you know that they haven't taken out a loan just to have that thing, right? And who you're comparing yourself to, do you really know who they are? Because you want to be like them as a person? So all these things we've got to really think about. So it comes from ego, because ego likes to keep us safe. And when we feel safe tearing someone down. It's like really massive in Australia, more than anywhere else actually. We really have a big tall poppy syndrome thing happening, which is really unfortunate. And so more people are going to pick out your mistakes than for your good, right? So it's really interesting. I saw this reel and how this summed up was perfect. This guy was writing sums on the board and he wrote them all correctly. He did the last sum wrong. It was like a maths sum. He did it wrong. He did the wrong answer. And the students were like, oh my God, that's wrong. You're silly. And he was like, yeah, it's interesting. So I wrote all these sums here. And the last one is what you focused on to tear me down. But you didn't congratulate me on where I got all the other sums right, because that's what happens in life. More people will likely to tear you down to make themselves feel better because they feel like that with themselves. And the more that you like tune your focal point, and that's how it is, the more that you actually really realize, like, holy shit, okay, like it's a them thing, not a me thing. Everyone is very insecure in their own way. But the more that we can bring that attention into us, the better that you're going to be and the better you're going to feel. What are you going to feel about your life? Do the things that make you want to feel. If you want that relationship and you're in a relationship and you're like, I wish my relationship was like that, what is it about that relationship that you perceive that you want? Have a hard conversation. Have hard conversation with your partner, because then you're going to be able to resolve a conflict and then you're going to be able to begin the happy stuff, because it actually brings you closer together than being apart. Anyway, I got to stop there because I really am struggling and my voice is cutting out. That is so effortless for me to talk right now. It doesn't hurt, but it sounds worse than what it is. I think I riffed on a lot. I feel like it was a good episode for people to hear. But I appreciate you guys for listening and tuning in for another episode. I thought it was really cool. Really wanted to honor my bestie Chloe for doing my makeup. Did a great job. I'll try and link her Instagram below because she's amazing. And I want you guys to listen to this episode again if you need to. Hopefully I've edited it nice and clear for you, because holy shit. But I will talk to you guys on another episode. Appreciate you guys. Like and share all the things for my podcast show. It really helps me get out there to other people. So I really appreciate when you share stuff and when you recommend and all the things. I've had a lot of recommendations recently, extra views, and I feel so like, oh, thank you guys. I appreciate you. So I'm glad things are resonating for people. So I absolutely love that. I'll talk to you in another episode, and I want you guys to really focus on you and focus that there's nothing wrong with you. You're just as worthy. You just need to give yourself that love.